Hey guys, listening to the English Made Simple show. This is episode number 230, number 230, número 230. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to today's show. This is episode number 230, and my name is Milena. I'm the host of the English Made Simple show. For those of you who don't know me, you can find me at englishmadesimple.net, englishmadesimple.net. How's it? How's it going? Hope everybody's doing well. In today's episode, we're going to cover a couple of things. We're going to talk about the challenge that I'm running for English Made Simple. And also, I'm going to share a kind of a story, a short story about a challenge that I decided to do after hearing about it in one of the podcasts that I follow. So I'm going to talk about that. And we are also going to have the repeat after me segment at the end of today's episode. Cool? Cool bananas. So first, let me quickly tell you about the English Made Simple challenge that I'm running. I did mention it in my last episode, and I still want to talk about it today in case you have some questions about it. Alright, so as I mentioned in my last episode, I have updated the audiobook called How to Simplify a Conversation. When you download this audiobook, you'll also get access to my 3-day mini email course. This 3-day course is free. It is also practical and actionable for you to do. It's so easy to do, even my grandma can do it, all right? I'm going to call it that. I'm going to call it mini email course that even my grandma can do. Okay, so go to englishmadesimple.net/convo to get your audiobook, How to Simplify a Conversation. englishmadesimple.net/convo, C-O-N-V-O. Convo is short for conversation. After you complete this mini email course, you'll have an opportunity to join my new speaking challenge called the Convo Starter. 21 conversation starters in 21 days. It is a new challenge I'm running. Again, it is a simple and practical challenge. The way it works is you go out into the real world and you're going to be talking to real people in English, okay? Real people. We're not gonna talk to imaginary people. I do talk to imaginary people sometimes. But we're gonna talk to real people as part of this challenge. The whole idea of this challenge is to get you to speak with others in English and also to get you out of your comfort zone. It focuses on practical, actionable, and simple phrases that you can use to ignite a simple conversation with anyone you meet in real life. So here's how it works. You will receive one conversation starter every day for 21 days by email. You will use the Convo Starter, the phrase that you receive in a cafe or any place, or maybe in a shop or any place you frequent often, I guess, so you go to often. After you use that phrase, you can take a photo, like a selfie with your phone, or you can take a photo of anything and use the hashtag the Convo Starter on Instagram to share your experience. So you can also tag me at English Made Simple. You can also tag me on Instagram after you complete the challenge so I can support you guys, all right? By the end of the challenge, you'll be feeling more confident and less stressed to speak in English. Plus, you'll also have fun. I'm trying to make this fun for you guys. Go to englishmadesimple.net/convo to download the audiobook, complete the 3-day mini email course that even my grandma can do, and join the speaking challenge at the end of the mini email course. Cool, all right. Are we pumped? See you in there, amigos y amigas. And now, on to the even better stuff in today's episode. It's my storytelling time. Hopefully you don't fall asleep. I've got another story to share with you. It's a story about overcoming your fears. It sounds really scary. Fears, oh. Everyone has fears. Even people who don't admit to having fears, they have fears. In Spanish, to have fears is tener miedo. I'm not talking about fear of spiders or dangerous animals, fear of sharks and snakes and what have you. Those are real fears, okay? Those are fears that are real. What I'm talking about is something called perceived fears. I'm not going to talk about fears in detail in today's episode, but I'm going to note this down and talk more about it in the future episodes. I actually heard a really good episode about fears, so I'll prepare an episode about fears and different types of fears that we can experience. All right, let's continue. So if you haven't guessed so far, I binge listen to a lot of podcasts. I like to listen to a lot of different podcasts. They keep me company when I do boring stuff around the house, when I do my chores or housework. Chores is another word for houseworks or some mundane, boring tasks that you have to do. For example, when I wash the dishes at home, it's one of the world's most boring jobs ever, washing dishes. Yeah, I know some of you are probably thinking, oh, but Milena, why are you not using a dishwasher? Yeah, I know there are machines that can do this for me. It can be a lot simpler. It can be really easy, but I don't have one. I don't have this machine. I don't have the dishwasher. It doesn't fit in my small kitchen, so I have to manually wash dishes. All right, that's another point of today's show. Anyway, the point is I use this opportunity to listen to podcasts. Every time I have to do something really boring, I listen to podcasts. I tune into podcasts. It helps me learn something new. It opens my mind to new ideas and something fresh that I can add to English Made Simple. So one day I listened to a podcast called The James Altucher Show, where James interviews a young entrepreneur who actually is a successful online entrepreneur. I forgot his name now. I don't know. Let's call him Carlos. Carlos' name always seems to pop into my head for some reason. So let's call this guy Carlos. He's a successful online entrepreneur. He was interviewed by James from the James Altucher Show. All right, so during this episode, I was listening to this episode with James Altucher. Carlos presented James and James's audience a challenge. I was listening to Carlos speak. I was listening to him intently. I was really eager to hear what he had to say. I was intrigued about this challenge that he talked about, that he mentioned. But I wasn't sure what he wanted us to do. So what was he going to ask us to do? I was wondering. It was actually a very simple challenge. It was about overcoming your fear of rejection, which is quite interesting. Okay, it's not fear of spiders or sharks. It's fear of rejection. There was a quote in the episode that I remember clearly, which was, one of the first steps to success is to get over your fears. Carlos said that he gives this challenge to his students that he coaches, these students who want to run online businesses or similar. So if you haven't figured it out, Carlos is an online business coach. And again, I forgot his real name, so I'm going to use pseudonym Carlos. So I call him Carlos. Okay, now on to the challenge. What was this challenge to help us overcome our fear of rejection? So he asked James, the host, he asked him, the next time you go out to buy your coffee from Starbucks, ask for a 10% discount. Interesting. He says most people would freeze if they had to ask for a discount. They freeze because they're like, oh, but that's not what we are supposed to do. They fear of being rejected. They immediately think, oh, but they will just say no. What's the point to ask? Okay? They fear of being rejected. Because it doesn't come naturally for people to ask for something like this. It's not about asking for a special deal, like when you go to a shop and you want to do a deal, I don't know, a TV with something else. You're not asking for a deal or a combo deal. The challenge was to ask a straightforward question, can I get a 10% discount on my coffee? You're supposed to just ask that simple question and then You shut up, you don't say anything, and you just wait for people's reaction. The point of the challenge is to be uncomfortable. We as human beings, we avoid anything that makes us feel uncomfortable. We would never bother to ask for a 10% discount at Starbucks. So we would just go to the counter, pay, and then sit on a chair. And that's comfortable for us, all right? That's really comfortable. We would not ask a 10% discount at Starbucks. To us, this is very unusual. So after I heard this challenge on James's podcast, I've decided to act. I said, why not? I'm going to try this. The challenge is on. I'll do it. As it turned out, that same day I had to go to a shop anyway to buy a pair of comfortable walking shoes. I had to replace my shoes, so I had to go to a shop. I went to a shop, I selected the shoes I wanted to buy. I went to the counter, and I remember I felt a bit nervous and awkward to ask for a discount, especially when I couldn't see anything around the shop to imply there's a sale going on or there's some sort of promotion in the store. Anyways, I thought to myself, what is the worst thing that could happen? What is the worst thing that could happen after I ask for a discount? The worst thing that could happen is that lady could say no. And that's not the end of the world, okay? That's not really the worst thing at all. And honestly, is hearing the word no from someone really that bad? What could change after you hear no? Nothing will change. Your life will still go on. I will go about my day like nothing happened. So why did I feel nervous to ask for a discount? That's what I mean by fear. Why do we feel nervous to do something that makes us uncomfortable? Okay, so I gathered some courage and I said to the lady after she scanned the shoebox, I asked her, could I get 10% off? And the lady looked at me weird with a huge question mark on her forehead and said, no, we don't bargain in this shop. So I said, okay, that's fine. And I bought my shoes as if nothing happened and I just went about my day. So that same day, I decided to go to a cafe and I asked for a discount again. The guy serving me replied to me and said, no, I can't really give you a discount, but I can give you a muffin and coffee deal for $6. How does that sound? And I said, all right, that sounds like a sweet deal to me. I'll have that. All right, here we go, amigos y amigas. So why should you care about this story? Why are you telling us this, Milena? Why are you sharing this story with us? Here is why, okay? For those of you who don't speak English every day, speaking in English is out of your comfort zone. It's not something you're comfortable with. So the challenge I've created for you is not difficult like the one I did. It's actually quite simple. You will go out into the real world like I did. I went to a shop, I went to a cafe. You will go out into the real world and use a very simple phrase in a shop or in a cafe or wherever you happen to be. The point is to use the phrase I give you. Use this phrase that you wouldn't normally use yourself. And of course, after the challenge, you will be more confident to speak in English. That is the whole point, is to boost your confidence. And the fun part of the challenge is that you'll be able to share your experience on Instagram. I'm playing with Instagram a bit. All you would have to do is hashtag the Convo Starter Challenge, and you can follow me on Instagram at English Made Simple. You can also tag me there because I want to support you throughout the challenge. I'll give you a lot of support and I'll cheer you on throughout the challenge. All right, how does that sound, amigos y amigas? Does that sound like a sweet deal? Great. Okay, that's it. We've approached the end of today's episode. And today's repeat after me phrase is, can I get 10% off? Can I get 10% off? We are just asking for a 10% discount. So that's the phrase from today's episode that I want you to learn. Can I get 10% off? Don't forget to go to englishmadesimple.net/convo to get your audiobook and get access to the free 3-day mini email course. And also don't forget to join the challenge, the Convo Starter Challenge. You'll get invited to join after you complete the mini email course. Thanks for joining me in today's episode. You've been an amazing audience and you've been jamming with Milena from English Made Simple. Until next time, hasta la próxima.
Can I get... This is embarrassing. I can't do this now.